Thank you so much for taking time to sit down with us tonight, Mothman. I know public appearances aren't really your thing. Okay, let's get right into it. Let's ask the hard question. Who or what are you? The silent type. I can respect that. Okay. Witnesses claim that they saw you moments before the Silver Bridge collapsed. Were you trying to protect them? Or are you what caused it? Plausible deniability. Okay. Now I know you came on here to get the message out to the world. We probably have about 10 or 15 viewers on here. So Mothman, tell us, what would you say to the non-believers? The people who think you're just a bedtime story for children? Well, you heard it here first. Mothman may not speak, but his silence screams volumes. Be sure to subscribe, because, well, Mothman is watching. Hey friends, welcome back to our journey through the haunted heart of Appalachia. If you've been following the series, you know the mountains here hide more than just ghost stories. They're alive with creatures, legends, and mysteries older than memory. If you're new to the series, don't worry, you can dive into tonight's story without missing a beat. But if you want to catch up on the eerie tales we've already discussed, I'll link the other 2 videos below. Now without further ado, let's get into it. Imagine a bitterly cold night in the heart of Appalachia. The wind is howling through the ancient trees, and a hunter is making his way back to his cabin, rifle slung over his shoulder. He's tired, his breath misting in the frigid air, when suddenly he freezes. In the distance, something moves. It's massive, towering well over 10 feet tall, covered in thick shaggy fur that glints like silver in the moonlight. The hunter's instincts scream at him to flee, but his feet are rooted to the ground. The creature turned its head slowly, glowing eyes piercing through the darkness. The hunters swear he's seen a bear, but no bear walks on 2 legs with such ease, nor possesses the terrible strength to rip trees from the ground, as if they were twigs. Now he knows he's staring at the Appalachian silver giant, a creature that folklore insists is more predator than myth. Locals say that the silver giant is an omen of doom, that those who glimpse it are marked for tragedy. Some believe it hunts wildlife and livestock, but darker tales whisper that it has been known to stalk humans who stray too far into the mountains alone. One chilling tale tells of a family in the 1960s who lived on the edge of the forest. One night they heard something massive dragging itself around the cabin, scratching at the windows with clawed hands. When the father shone his lantern outside, he saw a fleeting glimpse of silver fur and those burning eyes before the beast vanished into the night. The next morning, they found enormous claw marks gouged into the wooden walls, and animal carcasses scattered around their yard, some half-eaten, some left untouched as if placed as a warning. Now some say the silver giant is a guardian spirit of the mountains, punishing those who trespass too deeply into its domain. Others claim it's an ancient beast, one that's existed since before the first settlers arrived. Either way, those who encounter it never forget the feeling of being watched, hunted by something primal and unforgiving. When the moon is high and the forest is bathed in a silvery glow, locals say you might just catch a glimpse of something impossible. Figures moving quietly among the trees, their pale skin shimmering like ghosts. They call them the Moon-Eyed People. Legend says these beings have lived in the southern Appalachians for centuries, possibly long before the Cherokee. Their pale eyes, so sensitive to light, can only see at night, making them almost helpless during the day. They live in hidden caves and ancient structures built long before modern memory, venturing out only when the world is dark. One story tells of a traveler who got lost in the deep woods one evening. As he wandered, he saw what looked like candlelight flickering through the trees. Curious, and also desperate for help, he followed the light. only to find a group of small, pale figures gathered around a fire, their wide, glistening eyes locked onto him. He froze as they whispered in a language he didn't understand, their voices rising and falling like a chant. The figures didn't approach, but their presence felt like a warning. Slowly, he backed away, careful not to make a sound. As he moved, the figures faded into the darkness, as if the night itself swallowed them whole. Now, historians argue whether the Moon-Eyed People are a Cherokee myth, ancient settlers, or something else entirely, but sightings still persist, with hikers reporting strange pale faces peering at them from dense foliage. Some even claim to find odd stone carvings or primitive paintings deep in the forest, depicting pale, moonlit figures standing in circles. Maybe the Moon-Eyed People are gone, or maybe they're just watching, waiting for nightfall to reclaim their land. If you ever find yourself traveling through the quiet back roads of Adams, Tennessee, you might just hear whispers about one of the most infamous hauntings in American history, the legend of the Bell Witch. This legend has haunted the rural town since the early 19th century, and even today, her presence lingers in the stories told around the fire. It all began when the Bell family settled in their peaceful homestead in 1817. At first, it was just strange noises, faint tapping on the walls, footsteps when no one was there. But soon, the disturbances grew more sinister. Bed sheets yanked away in the dead of night, furniture shifting on its own, and voices taunting the family from the shadows. John Bell Sr. was particularly tormented, and it seemed the entity despised him above all. The spirit spoke with a cruel, almost gleeful tone, predicting that it would one day kill him. Despite the family's efforts to rid their home of the spirit, one evening, John's daughter Betsy screamed in terror as her hair was violently pulled by an unseen force. The witch's voice hissed, calling John a coward and threatening his life. Over time, John's health began to deteriorate. He was plagued by fits, his body growing weaker with each passing day. Then, one fateful morning, he was found dead in his bed, his mouth stained with an unknown substance. Beside him lay a small vial filled with a dark liquid. As the family mourned, the witch's voice rang out one last time.
I told you I would kill him.
To this day, the Bell Witch is considered a malevolent force, an entity that doesn't just haunt, but destroys. Those who visit the old Bell farmstead at night sometimes hear her mocking laughter echo through the trees, and few dare to linger too long. Now, whether the Bell Witch was a vengeful spirit or a manifestation of something darker, her story remains one of Tennessee's most unnerving tales, a reminder that not all spirits can be exorcised, and some curses linger long after death. Now, you didn't think I'd do a whole Appalachian series and not include the man, the myth, the legend. But I guess technically he's not a man? Or maybe he is. Let's talk about my personal favorite, Mr. Bigfoot. So when you think of Bigfoot, you probably imagine the Pacific Northwest, dense misty forests and towering evergreens. But here in Appalachia, Bigfoot wanders. One of the most notorious variations is the Tennessee Wildman. Locals say it's not just a wild animal, it's something more primal, almost human. Stories of the Wildman date back to the 1800s, when people whispered about a creature captured and displayed in a circus, only for it to escape one rainy night, leaving the tent in ruins. The Wildman's howls still echo through the hills of McNairy County, and women are warned to stay indoors when the beast is about. It's not just fearsome, it's fixated on abducting women, as if driven by some strange feral obsession. Then there are the apple devils, smaller, mischievous beings covered in reddish-brown hair. In the 1960s, farmers woke to find their apple orchards stripped bare, branches snapped, and apples gnawed to the core. Some even caught glimpses of the creatures, childlike figures, with glowing eyes darting through the trees, cackling as they fled. One farmer swears he found tiny footprints in the mud, leading straight to the edge of the forest. Then, the footprints just stopped. But perhaps the most terrifying of all is the Ohio Grassman, towering, muscular, and far more aggressive than your typical Sasquatch. Known for its human-like face and crude shelters made of grasses and branches, it's less a cryptid and more a predator. Native legends speak of the wild ones in the woods, who demanded offerings of food to remain peaceful. To this day, campers have reported guttural growls and even rocks hurled at their tents. One man, while fishing alone by a secluded creek, claimed to see the Grassman wading through the water, its piercing eyes locked onto his. He ran, not looking back, but he swears he heard it following, its footsteps heavy and deliberate. It's not just one Bigfoot in Appalachia. It's a family, a tribe, and they're as diverse and unpredictable as the wilderness they call home. So I've heard different variations of Sasquatch, I've heard Bat-squatch, and now I heard about Sheepsquatch, and I feel like I wouldn't be doing my job if we didn't talk about him. So we know West Virginia is no stranger to bizarre creatures, but none are quite as unsettling as Sheepsquatch. So imagine a creature as tall as a bear, but covered in matted wool. Its face is so grotesque, it's a fusion of canine and sheep with curved horns and glowing eyes. Those who have seen it say the creature smells like sulfur, like something dragged from the bowels of the earth. Something maybe that came from hell. So side note, before I started doing research, I thought that Sheepsquatch was like a brand new cryptid, but apparently he dates back to 1994. So 2 children were playing near their yard, and they spotted something large drinking from the creek. They thought it was just a stray animal, until it stood up on its hind legs, towering above them. Paralyzed with fear, they watched as it sniffed the air, growled, and then bolted into the forest, moving with surprising speed for such a massive creature. And that's not the only sighting. A year later, a couple driving down a remote road saw what looked like a massive woolly creature sitting in a ditch. Curiosity got the better of them, and they slowed to get a closer look. That's when Sheepsquatch lunged at their car, clawing at the doors and denting the hood. They sped away, but not before glimpsing the creature's yellow teeth, gnashing at the windows. Okay, so this story kind of reminded me of like when you're watching a horror movie and you see the people stopping and you're yelling, no, don't go, don't go. That's the vibe that this story gave. Don't go, just drive past it. Or drive backwards, actually, because if that were me, I put my car so fast in reverse. Because as cute as the name is, I don't think I want to encounter Sheepsquatch. Okay, anyway, back to it. So locals believe that Sheepsquatch was born from the polluted lands near the old TNT area, a beast mutilated by chemical runoff. Whether a product of nature or a byproduct of human folly, it remains one of West Virginia's most terrifying residents. Okay, so if you thought the name Sheepsquatch was cute, this one's pretty adorable. His name is the Snallygaster. Snallygaster. It's such a fun word to say. High in the skies over Maryland, farmers once feared a winged terror known as the Snallygaster. With the body of a reptile, the wings of a bird, and a metallic beak lined with razor-sharp teeth, the beast was said to swoop down, snatch livestock, and sometimes even people. During the 1700s, German settlers spoke of the Sheepsquatch, a quick spirit that struck without warning. One story tells of a young boy tending sheep when a shadow fell over him. Looking up, he saw the creature diving straight for him, his talons outstretched. The boy dove into a ditch, and the Snallygaster soared overhead, screeching in frustration. One night in the early 1900s, a farmer named Elias was tending to his cattle when he heard a bone-chilling screech pierce the air. Rushing outside, he saw his cattle panicking, eyes wide with terror. Then, from the corner of his eye, he caught a glimpse. A dark silhouette against the moonlight, wings flapping like thunder. Before he could react, the beast dove, its talons sinking into the back of a calf. Elias fired his rifle, but the creature barely flinched. It took off in the night, the calf dangling helplessly from its claws. The next morning, all Elias found was a few blood-stained feathers and deep gouges in the earth where the creature had taken off. In the 19th century, rumors of the Snallygaster were revived, and newspapers sensationalized new sightings. Some claimed it was a government experiment gone wrong, while others believed it was an ancient spirit of vengeance, punishing those who encroached on its land. Today, the Snallygaster remains a part of Maryland folklore, a chilling reminder that not all monsters lurk in the woods. Some take to the sky, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Today, the legend lives on, not just in stories, but in local traditions, including an ice cream flavor named in its honor. Sweet as that may be, it's a lighthearted tribute to a beast that once terrorized the skies. One thing I really love about the Appalachian monsters is that they all seem to have a common theme. We're not sure, was it man-made? So there seems to be a common theme with some of these monsters, right? We're not sure if they were made by man, or if they were just created from the depths of hell. The Appalachian Mountains are more than just rugged landscapes and breathtaking views. They are a living, breathing tapestry of legend and mystery, where creatures both feared and revered are said to roam. From the towering menace of the silver giant to the spectral whisperings of the moon-eyed people and the feral fury of Sheepsquatch, these mountains hide secrets older than the towns nestled within them. It's no wonder that even today, stories continue to emerge from these hills. And as long as people continue to wander these ancient forests and hike the winding trails, the legends will persist, growing, changing, and breathing life into Appalachia's haunted heart. If you ever find yourself alone in the woods, remember that the stories you've heard might not just be stories. Sometimes the line between legend and reality is thinner than you think, and in the shadows of Appalachia, you never know what might be watching you. Well guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. And if you're already subscribed, share, like, and comment as it helps my channel to grow. And I'll see you in the next one.